Productions from private studios around Pennsylvania, with hosts Rick Gonzalez of Allentown Cop Block, Scott Marshall of the Oath Accountability Project, and Matthew Taylor of Carbon County Cop Block. This is Cop Blast Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Cop Blast Podcast. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing great, man. I feel a lot better.
I'm doing great. I'm Scott Marshall from the Oath Accountability Project. We're live. It's 9:30. It's Monday night, and welcome.
Yeah, this is exactly where I want to be. This is Matt from Carbon County Cop Block coming at you live from Secret Studio here, and I look forward to this night every week. And of course, we have our third finally back from being sick, Mr. Rick Gonzalez. Rick?
What's going on, guys? It's good to be back. It's been a hell of a 2 weeks. But, yeah, it's good to be back on air.
So, Rick, last week we were supposed to have
It's great to see you, man.
Yeah. So, Rick, last week our show was called Rick Goes to the Shire, and we weren't actually able to tell that story. So, real quick, do you want to tell us about your trip to the Shire?
Yes, I will. First of all, I want to say sorry to everybody that I wasn't around last week to talk about it, but now I'm here, and I just want to apologize for that. And yeah, my trip to the Shire was great. I met Pete.
That's Pete Erie, right?
Yeah, Pete Erie. Did some cop blocking out with him, and then it was a great experience. I got to learn a lot from Pete, listening to him talk and how he does, activism. So it was great.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Pete is actually one of the core Cop Block, if I'm not mistaken.
And actually, for some of you guys who don't know, the Shire is is New Hampshire, and he was actually up in Keene, New Hampshire, home of LRN Studios for Cop Block Radio. Sorry to cut you off. Just wanted to make sure everybody had all the information.
Well, I would like to show a clip of JP just talking about us being out there. It's like a 155-minute clip if you guys want to check it out.
Wait, 1 or 55 minutes? Yeah, one.
I'm sorry.
No, I think you meant a minute 55.
A minute 55.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd love to see it.
Yeah, let's see it.
Hold on a minute. Let me screen share this real quick.
Yep. And obviously you can see Rick is feeling much better.
Yes.
JP Freeman from New Hampshire Regional Cop Block, copblock.org. With Ricardo from Allentown, Cop Block, Pennsylvania. You have Lehigh Valley founder and Cop Block radio shows Severin Freeman, and co-founder of copblock.org is Pete Air. They're talking about Bitcoin and encryption currencies, and we're here in the greater Manchester area. Of course, I'm not looking at the camera because I'm trying to concentrate on where I'm walking. I don't want to fall off the bridge. It's pretty fucking far fall. But we're here just chilling, and we got a pullover last night. These guys are leaving tomorrow. They came Wednesday. We've been having a great time just chilling, and some of our stuff has been put out on Cell 411. I do my drop streaming from an HD camera. It's actually extremely warm out. Yeah, I dressed for the winter. Thinking it's like 30. It's like almost 70. It's April 1st, and we're just chilling here with Pete Air and Severin Freeman and Ricardo Gonzalez from Pennsylvania. They came up to shit on FSP.
That's the Free State Project, you guys.
LRN FM studio in Keene, New Hampshire. But we're chilling in the Shire, chilling in Manch. We'll go to get some bite to eat. This is my first mini cast in 2 weeks. It's been a rough week. And we're just chilling. And stay tuned, hit a like, subscribe if you like. And JP Freeman is howdy.
That's our buddy JP.
I love that
Awesome
dude. He's a nut.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to JP and to Severin It was great being out there with those guys and cop blocking. It was great.
Oh, let me ask you, what was your favorite thing that you did while you were out there?
I got to actually visit King. Just visiting King was just great. Um,
I know when we were talking a couple times, I know you got really excited about, I think it was Friday morning, you guys went over to the courthouse in Keene and did Don't Take a Plea,
yeah, we did it. Don't take a plea.
which,
J-
which tell us about what Don't Take a Plea is.
uh, it's just informing people that come to court to don't take a plea because the courts are quick to give give people plea deals so they could get the calendar moving. And it's a money making business, and they do it just to collect revenue, to get guilty pleas, to make money off of guilty pleas. And so we go out there to try to prevent that from happening constantly. So we go out there, we hand out literature, say explaining uh, why not to take a plea.
Now, from my understanding, JP has been doing this every week for almost the last 3.5 years, right?
Yes, he's been a real, he's been on
Pioneer.
top of all of that stuff,
Yeah.
like constantly every day, every morning. Not every morning. I think it's Thursday. I believe he goes out, and Friday. He
So,
does it like a few times a week. He goes out there every morning.
so being from New York and Pennsylvania, where it's really hard to, record certain places, especially like courtrooms, how bizarre was it to actually be able to pull out your recording in a courtroom?
It was great. I never felt so free, like being in that courtroom and able to record and not have one court officer tell me you can't record, or trying to arrest me for it. But over here, they'll do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, it's night and day. I mean, here they'll threaten you with wiretapping. They won't even start the proceedings unless they know your phone's off. I know a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah,
weeks ago, Scott, you were in a situation with Rick and Severin Freeman of Lehigh Valley Cop Block. And inside the courtroom, they stopped the proceedings to make sure that your cell phone wasn't on when it had an updating glitch.
yeah. Basically, they asked my lawyer was like, "Hey, I might need to see a picture that you have on your phone," and like then he asked the judge if that was okay, and the judge was like, "All right." And then I turned it on. The cop was like, "Well, I have a picture," so I turned it off. And then the cop was like, "Wait, I can't find it," so I turned it back on. And he was like, "Oh no, wait, I found it. It's doing an update because I'm turning on and off, on and off. It's doing an update." So I can't do anything. I just have to sit there. So I just put it under my leg because I know at some point it's going to turn on and it's going to make a sound. And the bailiff is across the room and he's like standing there like, and he writes his little note to the judge and the judge is like, "Mr. Marshall, you recording?" I'm like, "No, no, no. It's an update. I don't know what it's doing. You on off, on off."
My phone is throwing me under the bus, and I'm sorry for it.
Yeah.
Like,
So at the end of the day, Rick, good experience up there in Keene.
It's great. Yeah, I want to take another trip up there as soon as I have extra time to do it. But I'm definitely gonna go and take a trip up there again.
And before we leave this story, why don't you tell us about an event coming up in June?
Oh yeah, we have a cop blocking event coming up. Everybody come out, film some police, do some protesting, exercising your rights, letting them
and where's
know.
this at?
Allentown, PA.
If you guys can find
Alright.
more information on this, and you can find it on all three of our Facebooks at Oath Accountability on the Facebook, Carbon County on Facebook, and Allentown Cop Block Facebook.
And yeah, it's all over the Facebook pages right now. It's being shared. And not only, I cop block all the time, so this is just for everybody to get some, familiar, show them the ropes that are new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I go out every
Well,
night.
that
After this podcast, I'm about to go out and see what I could catch.
Rick, real quick, check the
no,
chat.
that sounds. That sounds awesome. Now, when we do these meetups, we walk all around. We even have, sometimes we have people that don't like us, and there's actually a great video. I think it's on Blocks YouTube. Severin Freeman shot it. It was this lady got really mad and came up and started yelling at us, and then she walked away and for some reason decided to put her thumb in her butt or whatever. She just,
That was honestly, there was 18 of us on the street who lost it. We all simultaneously lost it out front of a police station when she did this.
yeah, it was really awesome. So we have a little bit of seriousness. We go around, we find the cops. They like to avoid us in Allentown because they don't want to be on camera. I don't think any of them do. But I mean, all you really gotta do is you just gotta hang out long enough and you'll see something go down. It's Allentown.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely a good time. So, Scott, you have a story actually out of Greensburg, PA.
Yep. My story starts out with this is a story right out of Pennsylvania, Greensburg. I'm not exactly sure how far away this is from us, but it's a state trooper he's going to trial right now because he whipped it out. That's I mean I don't know how else to put it. He whipped it out.
I'm about to bring you up a photo right now. If you don't
please don't bring up a photo of him.
No,
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
Okay, but anyhow, this is Trooper Eric Zonta. This is out of Greensburg, and like he offered the woman discounts on merchandise in exchange for her sexual participation at the Greensburg barracks. Like a merchandise, like you get to go on a supermarket sweep. What are those things where they let people like run through the supermarket and like fill up as much of a cart as they can before they get out of there?
Shopping sprees.
Shopping spree?
Yeah, like a shopping spree, like one of those. You go on a free shopping spree and you fill up your. Is that what he was offering? Like, take a tour of our evidence room. I won't look. Like a what is merchandise like?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what merchandise an officer could actually.
I mean, could they have used a more PG term, merchandise? Like, they were sitting around, they were like, I don't want to call this evidence because that sounds really bad. Other people's property, confiscated property. Merchandise, like this is a motherfucking department store. Like. I mean, you can tell sometimes the media really tries to spin a story, and they'll use soft words because if we said evidence, that word has too many corners. It strikes too. But if you just call it merchandise, it sounds innocent, like it's a shop. Like,
hey, I just want to make sure real quick because it's happening a lot on my end, but only with you, Scott. Rick, are you having trouble with Scott's audio?
Yeah, he's going in and out a little bit.
Scott, do you mind jumping out and jumping back in? Your audio's doing the ping thing.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. So
apology for the technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
So, anyways, this officer, I'll go ahead and pick this up for him while he jumps out. It was Trooper Eric Zota, and like he said, he offered her, merchandise for the sexual favors and everything, and honestly that just really bugs me. Like, how do you have somebody on your force that finds something like this okay? They're there to deter that exact action, these type of actions, and to it just really bugs me. Like, how can you think that's okay? And the fact that at the end of the day he was only charged with misdemeanors really even bugs me even more because, I mean, there's a laundry list I can think of that goes on there. I mean, breaking color of the law. You know, I mean, that's sexual extortion. I mean, and these are felony offenses. Not to
Exactly.
mention, just whipping it at that point is, deviant sexual acts. So to have all three of those things there, and they only charge homeboy with misdemeanors, like, how? Oh, that's right. Although they don't, I guess badges still are granting some extra rights. Even when they're caught, they're still granting extra rights. I mean, we're taking step forwards and starting to see officers, held accountable for their actions. But even when they're held accountable with just a slap on the wrist for what they did. Even the jail time they're getting is a slap on the wrist, unless they've done something so damn nefarious that they're talking about it across seas because it's so messed up. So, we're making gains, but even still, at this point, there's a long way to go, and a cop can sit there and just, pull his thing out and start going around and offering evidence to people for sexual favors, and they get misdemeanors.
Merchandise.
Merchandise.
How does my audio sound, by the way?
Still kind of doing it, but it's better.
Okay. I don't know what could be causing it, but
I mean, it happens sometimes. The weather's not exactly perfect up here in the mountains right now, so
yeah, I'll try to limit my talking if it's that. Is it that bad?
It's at times. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's at times it's good. At times it's just you really can't decipher what you're saying. Can you lower your bandwidth? I was gonna say, if you lower your bandwidth, even to as low as you could possibly go for the moment, just to let it catch yourself up, it might be able to correct the issue. Well, while you do that, I'm going to jump into our next story, which actually comes into a situation that we've hit on quite a few times on the show here, which comes to domestic violence inside of the homes of police officers. There was basically in a magazine called Miss Magazine, or a blog that was called Miss Magazine in October of 2015 by Alex Roslin and Susan Hope, who was married to a police officer for 20 years, and it was under the original title of what she wrote was actually called Police Wives: The Secret Epidemic of Police Domestic Violence. And I'm only going to read you a small part of what was in there because this was actually a 60-page piece that she wrote. It was a massive piece, but one of the things that she wrote was domestic violence takes place in up to I'm going to start that over again. Domestic violence takes place in up to a staggering 40% of law enforcement families, but police departments mostly ignore the problem or let it slide. Let's see. In her new book, Police Wives: The Secret Epidemic of Police Domestic Violence, it follows basically her experience as a police wife in a abusive home, and how multiple times when the situation was occurring that she called out for help. She contacted the local department, other departments, and they turned a blind eye because they were more concerned about what a report against her husband was going to do to his career than if he was actually going to go and take it too far one night and kill her. So eventually she was able to get out of the marriage and get out of the situation with her and her kids, and decided that she wasn't going to just stand by like a lot of people in the department, and also the women that go through the domestic violence do. Now, I'm not saying they do it to protect people when they're quiet, the victims. They do it more so out of fear of what the repercussions are going to be, because as we've seen more than once, it can be very dangerous to speak out against police officers, especially something along these lines that leaves leaves them open to such critical judgment in the community that it can be pretty damning to them outside of if they were to move to a different area. I mean, domestic violence really is something that sticks around.
Yeah.
So, with the threat of having the repercussions of that, it causes a lot of these women to stay quiet. And she wanted to help the survivors of this and hopes to wake a few more people up and have this really get a solid look at the fact that it really is an epidemic. When you have 40% of all police families having some sort of domestic violence going on, there's a really serious problem, not only with the mentality of the people they're hiring for that job, but then the fact that it's being so brushed under the rug that it's taking this woman to actually come out and writing a book and do and everything just for it to actually get some sort of media attention.
Yeah, and like I've said before, I mean, if these people will do this to people that they love, what are they going to do to you, a stranger that they don't know or care about? Like, and this is 40% of them, like 40%.
That's not counting the ones that are going through that right now.
Yeah, and the ones that don't speak up, like, how can you get an accurate number from that if they're not speaking up?
I mean, if you think about it, there is 1.1 million police officers in America. So you're telling me that about 500,000 families are going through this right now? I mean, that tells you not only, and that's just a number from 2008. So there's obviously more than 1.1, but that's the last time they took a real count. It was 2008. So it's been 8 years since they've really taken a look at that. But just on a rough estimate, let's even lowball it a little bit and say 400,000. That's still a crap ton of the force that is out there beating their partners, their children, and that's something that really needs to be investigated, and not investigated by another person in blue, but by people who are actually going to be able to make that change, And this comes back to some of the things that we've said before, that psychological tests not only need to be done at the beginning of their career, but it needs to be something that continues with them through their career, because as a police officer, nobody's going to turn around and say these people don't see some shit. I mean, when you walk into a house and you have somebody who's OD'd and their child, their baby is laying next to them crying, trying, type of thing, and there's a needle hanging out of their arm, that's going to stick with you. It's going to mess with your head. These people need somebody to talk to, and just to expect them to be able to continue on their daily lives, go home and just internalize
and just think about people like regularly, like it's got to be really polarizing, like it really does. I mean, and the thing is, like, if you're gonna, I understand that all these are the plight of the police officer, but you have to understand this going into the job, that you are gonna see fucked up shit, and you still have to remain impartial. Like, everybody's like, oh, cops have a bad job. They're really stressed out. If I had to chase somebody through a field, I would probably beat them up too. And it's like, really? Because if I dealt with a customer that made me do a bunch of crap that I didn't really need to do, I'm pretty sure if I beat them up, not only would I be fired, I'd be charged and put in jail. Yeah. So I don't really see how cops have been given sort of like God status, like they can do no wrong. I mean, like Carlos Miller said, they give them all these little medals, like little kids. Like you give a little kid in elementary school a bunch of medals and a bunch of badges, so they can trot him out at the end of the year and say, oh, he got perfect attendance, and he got this, and he got that, and he made the honor roll, and he won the science fair, and he participated in the science fair, and blah 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 blah. And it's to pump up their self-esteem and make them feel good. But then when they get in trouble, when the police get in trouble, they come out and say, "Oh, he won many awards. He's an award-winning officer," and blah 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 blah. Like,
And it doesn't help that you
award-winning,
basically
like,
gave him a gold star
like-
for passing the class that they probably cheated to get through. So
oh, his friend gave him an award. His friend gave him an award. That's awesome. Like, who gives out these awards? Is it
you know what?
like are
Let's
they
start giving each
are
other
they just
awards.
made the fuck up? Do they just make them the fuck up? That's a good concept, actually. We should start. Us cop blockers should just start like giving
Giving out
awards
awards.
to other. To other cop blockers and saying you're an award-winning, and then when we get arrested, look, officer, I'm an award-winning
Member of
journalist.
society.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just Your Honor. I'm award-winning journalist. You know, like. So
I
that's
think you guys could
that's what we're
probably
gonna do.
I think you guys could probably look on copblock.org later on this week and probably see this exact article that was just born in this moment popping up from either Scott or myself.
They were just gonna start giving each other awards. We gotta give a demo an award so that when he goes to court, he can say, "Look, I'm an award-winning journalist."
Yeah, we gotta
So-
get on that tonight.
Well, let's see. I'll nominate him for
Cop Blocker of the Year?
best Yeah, I'll nominate him for best for cop blocker of the quarter, because we can't give him cop blocker of the year because it's like
Yeah. How about Cop Blocker of 2015?
yeah, we'll give him that award. Yeah.
All right. So
We'll-
you put it on the floor. I second it. The award has been given.
I concur.
All right. So we're gonna have to notify the.
Yeah, we'll notify the after the show. So I want to move on.
We gotta
to our
give Dio an
next
award
story.
too, but
yeah.
we'll do that next week.
Yeah.
We'll give an award a week. That's what we'll do.
We're
We'll
giving
give
an
an award a week on
week.
the podcast.
There we go. A what award every week on the podcast. There we go.
For the foreseeable future, which means until we forget about it or lose interest.
Which is probably like 3 weeks from now. But so
Yeah,
our next story actually turns around, and it seems like this might take place in your former backyard, your old stomping ground, Scott, back in Richmond, where the Innocence Project does it again by exonerating a man who was on a life sentence by DNA evidence. So, any of you guys remember, the Innocence Project really got a lot of publicity last year when Netflix came out with that Making a Murderer show. Not going to get into that show. That was way too debated on every social media for way too long. But
I'm tired of hearing all the shit about Stephen Avery and all that shit. I'm tired of it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it.
But long story short, they got Stephen Avery off of his first conviction, and now they've turned around and they've got Keith Allen Harvard off of a conviction, which, when he was convicted by a bite mark. They said the bite mark is what was the damning evidence in his case. So on April 8th, after Richmond Supreme Court granted a writ of actual innocence to Keith Allen Harvard on Thursday, Harvard is expected to walk out of Virginia State Prison as a free man after wrongfully serving more than 33 years of a life sentence for a rape and murder he did not commit. Harvard, who narrowly escaped the death penalty, was convicted primarily on the testimony of two forensic dentists who said Harvard's teeth matched marks on the rape victim. During the course of his prosecution, 6 forensic dentists falsely claimed that Harvard's teeth matched the bite mark on one of the victims. New DNA evidence definitively proved Harvard's innocence and pointed to Jerry Cottery as the real assailant. Mr. Harvard is at least the 25th person to have been wrongfully convicted or indicted based on discredited bite mark evidence. So, I mean, they did it again. They got somebody off that was innocent, and where that goes back to is, okay, I understand that there are people who have been convicted of crimes, and it's kind of hard to go back and look at all of these crimes that people have been convicted for life sentences. But when you have something like, bite marks, where this was the sole factor that got this person a life sentence, and it has been discredited and proved as not a non-factual science that really can't be backed up without more evidence to go against somebody, you need to reinvestigate that case and make sure that you have the right man sitting in jail, because this is something that could have been squashed back in the 90s. DNA evidence is something that is not new to the world. I mean, DNA evidence was used in '93 for the O.J. Simpson trial, but we turn around and here we are in 2016, and this poor man is sitting here. His case happened right before, just a couple years before the O.J. Simpson case. And just to think about it, that he's been sitting in jail that long for something he didn't do, and obviously it's not like he was just sitting there not filing appeals. He was filing appeals. Obviously, his lawyers, knowing that, or hearing him saying that he didn't do it, had to have more than once put in an appeal asking for DNA evidence to be re-examined. And the fact that it was ignored is preposterous and appalling, considering that the only reason that he was convicted was because of evidence that has since been proven to not be substantial and can't actually be viable in the court of law. So you would think automatically that would grant the appeal to open that case back up and allow them to be able to reinvestigate it. And the fact that it's not really shows that there is, a very big flaw, one of the very big flaws that is still in our criminal justice system that really needs
criminal injustice system.
I like that even more.
Criminal injustice. By the way, how's my audio sounding?
So much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I figured it out.
So it was just I just can't believe on how many times you really see this, because I mean, to think about it, that's just 25 people alone that have been exonerated for bite mark evidence, and then you sit there and you think how many people might have actually been put to death for not doing the crime that they have been committed of. And then obviously once they're put to death, the police department isn't going to turn around and go, shit, we got to reopen that because we screwed it up. No, they're gonna push that as far under the rug as they possibly can. Like, no, we got the dude. Let's just try to pick the right guy up later on some.
Yeah, and
fucked up again.
I feel like that's one of the things that I'm kind of against is capital punishment. There's always the chance that somebody could be innocent, and I mean, just the thought that we could be killing innocent people, it could take, up until the person's like 85 to, figure out that they're innocent, but still, like,
at least give them some of their life back, even if it's just a fraction of it. I mean, Christ. But I mean, I agree with you. I'm not a fan of the capital punishment at all. I don't think our government should have any right to turn
kill
around
anybody.
and to deem that the life of one of the citizens inside of their country isn't worth it anymore. I mean, I know that I'm not a religious person myself, and I know honestly a lot of people aren't out there, and although there's supposed to be the separation of church and state, yada yada, most of our politicians definitely turn around and in their campaigns speak of God and their connection to God and their Christianity and their humanity. And if they really are, as Christian as they say they are, they should be standing up against this, because one of the things that their religion is to teach them is that, people can change and people can be forgiven. But if you can't turn around and allow these people to, find themselves again and express remorse and these type of things, you just decide to write off their existence. I don't think the government should have the right to do that. Nobody should have the right to write off somebody's existence, especially the government that's supposed to be, they're not, but but an entity that's supposed to be there for the people of their country, no matter how nefarious that person is.
Yeah, of the people, by the people, for the people.
So, yeah.
Yeah, That's just you know, at least I'm just glad that he's out. That you know,
Yeah, he can enjoy some
'cause
of his life. And honestly, if he pulls the Stephen Avery route, which he should, and I know I didn't, we're bring him up again, but decides to take the Richmond, Virginia to the injustice system to court for a civil lawsuit, just watch your ass, man, because they're not gonna be happy when you hit them with a lawsuit that's gonna be millions upon millions of dollars for that. So if you decide to do that, there's nothing holding you in that area except for that lawsuit. File it in Virginia and get the hell out of it, and come back when you have to be there. Just don't give them the ability to tack you to the wall like what happened to Stephen Avery, because nobody knows if he committed that second murder or not. But because of just how fishy that situation seemed afterwards, it's always going to sit there and think, did he actually commit a second murder, or was this a way to get them out of a 30-some million-dollar lawsuit? So just watch your back, dude. I know you'll probably never see our show, but watch your back, man, because you're gonna have a target on it, and it's unfortunate.
yep. We got our next story comes to you from copblock.org, written by, is it Asa or Asa? Asa J? Asa J. And this is I don't know if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, the cop that slapped the student in Baltimore City
Oh yeah, I remember
on
him.
video. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, the cop that slapped the guy. And actually,
you're right, Rick. Why don't you play that video for us?
I'll just go ahead and uh I got it right here.
Okay.
Just just give me a second to get it up there. All right.
Bring it back again.
Yeah, bring it back.
It's freezing up. I could hear it.
Yeah,
All
you're
right, Rick,
choppy.
Rick, if you wanna play it, I got my settings limit. I thought I could get it. Sorry, guys.
Well, there's what's wrong. You have like 90,000 tabs open.
I only got a couple. I got enough RAM. Chill out.
All right, let me know you guys got audio.
I'm presenting to everyone apparently.
Yeah, Rick, bring
Hello,
it back.
everyone. If you like
Rick, bring it
my
back now. You got
logo,
a screen share.
and then my logo, another logo. Um,
Okay.
I'm not presenting anymore.
There you
Since I
go,
was
Rick.
presenting, I decided to present my
There you
studio.
go. You see 1, 2, and kicks him. So
Oh,
1, 2,
blow.
3, and kicks him.
Yep.
Now, if you remember, it came back later and showed, Rick stopped presenting. It came back and showed that the whole reason the officer said that he did this is because he didn't believe that that was a student of the school, and it came out that that was a student of the school. So, Sky, you were going to continue on this?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the cop says, fuck you with the first slap, go home then, and then kicks him, and then says, get the fuck out of here, and hits him, the third time. Um, yeah, he kind of but and kicks him in his ass. Let's go the fuck home. So, he was charged with felony second degree child abuse, which was misdemeanor, and then misdemeanor second degree assault and misconduct following the incident. The officer in the footage, Saverna Bias, or BIAS, so Saverna Bias, was charged with a misdemeanor second degree assault and misconduct in office. So I'm not sure, was it all three of them that he got charged with, or
If I remember right, there was 2 officers who were charged.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
There's
yes,
female
yes.
officer right behind that one.
Yeah.
Oh, well then that must be Saverna. I thought that was a yep, Saverna. I thought that was a feminine name.
Yeah, if I remember right, it
Uh,
was two officers who was charged, but
yeah. The
Well,
one officer was charged just because she was like standing there and watching and didn't do anything.
right.
So guilty by association, basically. Which I'm okay with. Not okay with what she did, but okay with the charges. They'll give it to somebody else for doing nothing.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say that's one of the first times I've seen an officer get charged with guilty by association.
well,
yeah,
you're not charged anymore. The charges were dropped.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
in
Um,
preliminary at that.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
Now
Well,
that's
I think she got she
rough.
got charges. She got charges because she told him to smack him. So that's how she was implemented. She said you need to smack him because he's got too much mouth. A witness heard. Um,
and
um,
then of course he did it. Like an
Yeah, like a
idiot.
fucking idiot that he is.
Bunny Boots says that is the worst excuse ever, and I'm sure that comes back to the didn't know if he was a student or not. I absolutely agree. Like, there's no reason to do that in the first place, but just be like, well, I didn't think he was a student, so I thought slapping him was okay. Yeah,
yeah, I
not
thought I could
exactly.
thought I
That
could
doesn't
slap
fly.
the shit out of him and it would be okay. Yeah.
Doesn't
Man,
exactly fly.
I I probably would have reacted as soon as I seen that. I definitely would have confronted that officer
Yeah.
and that female
You
also. I
probably
gotta
gonna
know.
you probably got would have gotten a smack yourself.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have got that close for it to
Duck
happen.
duck down.
Duck and weave, dip and dive.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Body, body, head. Head, body, head.
Yeah,
And
but
so,
the school, or it was later identified, or it was that the student was misidentified. Um, you know, he he assumed the risk of getting beat up by spitting on the cops. So the cops are saying that he spit on him. Um, so I don't know. I doubt it. Because they would have charged a kid with assault for spitting on a cop. So uh, well, anyways, they dropped the charges, and that sucks. And Baltimore sucks, and yeah, add that to the
The
list of
justice
places to stay
system
out of.
sucks.
The whole thing sucks. It's a big sucky suck fest.
absolutely. So, with a couple more stories and limited time left, I'm going to move us on to our next story. Uh, this story actually is coming out of Grand Valley, or Michigan, rather, where basically bystanders were told to delete footage after cops beat the wrong man. Rick, would you like to play this video?
Yeah, hold on a minute. Let me get to it. I just got it up.
I agree, Boots. That is just like boxing practice. Head, body, head.
Yeah, undercover officer. No pictures. No, no pictures. Delete it. Delete it. It's for the safety of the officer. Everybody's cameras. Everybody up. And we tell the story like we used to. I don't know. I just gotta figure out how to bring it up. This is a loaner phone. Hold on. I have to bring it up. Okay. There.
I
Let me
call
tell you-
foul.
Yeah, let me
I call
tell you-
foul.
Let me tell you what they were wanting them to delete. So James King was in Grand Valley State, or is a Grand Valley State University student. He was in Michigan when on the 18th of July, 2014, he was attacked by undercover Grand Rapids police detectives and a FBI special agent. According to the lawsuit that was filed, there was a lawsuit filed, Boots. According to a lawsuit filed on the 4th of this month in district court, King says he thought he was being mugged and claimed plainclothes officers never identified themselves before beating and choking him unconscious. The suit names Special Agent Douglas Brownback, Grand Rapids Police Detective Todd Allen, and Grand Rapids Police Officer Connie Morris as defendants, and alleges that his 4th and 14th Amendment rights were violated. Let me go ahead and just say, Douglas Brownback, Todd Allen, and Connie Morris, you are our triple douchebag of the week, because this is just bullshit. So King was walking down Leonard Street, northbound, when he encountered Allen and Brownback leaning against an unmarked SUV. The undercover officers were members of a joint fugitive task force and looking for a fugitive that had reportedly been spotted in the area and wanted for home invasion. The lawsuit says the cops determined King, who was 21 years old at the time, matched the fugitive description and approached him wearing only lanyards with badges and asked for identification that he didn't have. King couldn't read what the badges said, and the cops refused to identify themselves when he asked them. But he complied nonetheless with the request to get up against the SUV and put his hands behind his head. The officers later testified that King's wallet was removed during a pat-down before they attempted to place him under arrest, and he asked them, "Are you mugging me?" The lawsuit says King didn't receive an answer from either cops, and he turned and ran. The officers quickly tackled King to the ground as he yelled for bystanders to call the police. According to the suit, they began punching him repeatedly in the head and face prior to choking him until he lost consciousness. Officer Allen would later testify under oath that he beat King as hard as I could and as fast as I could and as many times as I could. Like, holy shit! Like, okay, so not only did you not identify yourselves, you got the wrong man, and then you get up on stand and you're like, yeah, you know what, I beat him as hard. It was like, holy shit. Like, so Officer Allen, like, he is quoted saying he beat him as hard as he could, as fast as he could, and as many times as he could. Like, yeah, you're paying money. You're probably going to go to jail on that one, too. But, wow, you know? And Boots says, just try and force me to delete my footage. It won't end well for the police agency. You know what? You know, right there with you, bud. You know, you tell me to delete footage, I'm going to take the footage right the fuck off of me. You know, and especially nowadays, if they tell me to delete the footage, I'm going to look at them and say exactly what I said to them a couple weeks ago when I was recording, and they told me I can't use the footage. Too damn bad it's been live streaming the entire time. You know, like, this is why live streaming is definitely something that is important, because if you have an officer who has broken the law, the first thing they're gonna want to do is get that footage and make sure nobody is able to, you know, present that. So if you can live stream using an app like Cell 411, you can turn around and really save your own ass, because if they do try to go and delete your footage, guess what? It's sitting somewhere where they can't access it, and you can tack them to the wall for the injustice that they did against you. I just talk about, like, a really messed up situation, because not only do you have just a local state or a local police agency, but you have the FBI there too, and the FBI just went straight up out of control. So I mean, this is a messed up situation all around, and that's going to be a hell of a lawsuit sitting right there, because he's got the local police department and the Federal Bureau of Investigations that just roughed him up because they didn't take the time to identify him properly, especially if they sat there and had his wallet in hand. And if he asks, "Are you mugging me?" if you're police officers and you think you got the right guy, you say, "No, you're under arrest." I mean, that's all they really had to say. Or, "No, you're being detained right now. Identify yourself," and there you go. You know, situation solved until you can, you know, figure this whole thing out. I mean, this could have gone, you know, a much better way, which would have been, yeah, you know what, you grabbed the wrong guy, you figured that out, and everybody went along their way. Somebody was really pissed off because they had their day ruined because you picked them up for the wrong damn thing, but at the end of the day, nobody has the crap beat out of them. Nobody is going to jail. nobody's going to the hospital because you knocked them the hell out. You did your job as best as you, I guess, could. Although you're kind of an idiot for not really making sure you have the right guy before you use physical force. But then you also don't have to do something along the lines of trying to, after breaking the Fourth and 14th Amendment on a suspect, then turning around and going to people in the area and trying to break their First Amendment rights. So this is just screwed up from top to bottom.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat him as hard and as fast as I can. Why is that even necessary? The guy ran away and you tackled him. Now you need to beat him? Like, I beat him as hard and as fast as I can. Like, yeah, that sounds like a guy doing his job properly.
Yeah. Actually, Bunny Boots says Livestream saved his ass last year when he was arrested. So that's that right there. I mean, there's somebody who is on our Q&A who's testifying to Livestream really can not only keep them accountable, but really saves their ass, or it can save your ass if you get into a situation, because at the end of the day, it's the ultimate held of accountability that can't be taken away. You can snap a phone in half, and that's the end of a video that's on it. But if you sit there and it's sitting on something that they can't hit, they snap your phone in half, and then you've got a video of what they did. Then you can be like, and that's why they snapped my fucking phone in half.
Yeah, that's why they snapped my phone in half. I'm gonna need compensation for that.
Yeah. So.
Scumbag cops.
Yep.
So I know we got one more story left. Unfortunately, my phone took a colossal shit, and I don't have the show notes up. So
I got an error on that last link.
On the last link there?
The last story.
No, I got it up. Alright, this is a Missouri prosecutor who's Marshall. And he indicted him on 10 felonies to prevent a new term. A Missouri prosecutor filed a quo warranto lawsuit against the city marshal-elect from the town of Dixon to keep him out of office as county police step in to keep order after a near riot. It's not often that prosecutors sue police. According to local news outlet, blah, 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 I say that because I don't want to tell their name because they don't give me no money. Pulaski County Sheriff Ron Long called the protest at City Hall on the night of the election a near riot. Near riot. Prosecuting attorney Kevin Hamlin filed a quo warranto, blah, blah, blah.
Are these real words?
Yeah, quo warranto. What is, it
Would that be
like
a wart? Would that be a wart?
I don't know, quo. Quo warranto is this
Latin
Spanish?
term which means
It
by,
sounds...
by what authority?
Ah, got you. Yeah. So I was going to say, is it Spanish? Apparently it is.
That's Latin.
Well, okay. I'm
2%.
sorry. Not Spanish.
That's racist,
Latin.
sir.
Well, Latin American... I don't know.
Just stop digging.
I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave that there. Probably going to have to edit that out now. This is live.
Yeah, that's live streaming. Digging the whole live streaming.
Yeah.
Good thing there's like 5 of you out there watching. I'm kidding.
Yeah. All 5 of you, if any of you happen to be Latin American, I apologize for mixing you up with Latin. Anyhow.
Still digging.
A trial is scheduled May 31st for 15 crimes of forgery, hindering prosecution, making false declarations, and theft. Now, see, the thing is, he's been kicked off the force, yet they elected him again.
He hasn't been kicked off the force. he's been on paid administration leave.
Well, you did like.
It's as close as
Okay,
possible
sorry.
to kicking off, but
He needs to
Paid
be facing in front
administration
of a
leave.
judge.
Anyhow, but the thing is, the guy got reelected. Like, they want to keep him out, and then they took away all of his certifications, and they still reelected him. So,
yep.
They they picked him over the current acting town marshal, and now is.
Well, see it's something that's hard because I mean, if you sit there and you're like, okay, well, obviously the city does not want him, but it makes you wonder what kind of fucked up township this really has to be, or I guess town because there's only really townships in fucking Pennsylvania, but what kind of town, like fucked up town that has to be that you have a marshal running against him, and
Yeah, like,
this guy
like
isn't elected.
Like, I'm struggling with this story so much because it's like it's hard to believe it. It's like, is this The Onion? But no,
Yeah.
this is right off of PNAC, by the way. Photography is not a crime. This is written by Grant Stern. But I mean, it's just amazing. Like, you have a police officer that's been indicted, and they put him on paid administrative leave, and they're like, well, fuck it, we'll elect him to be the marshal. So we'll elect him to be the highest law of the town.
What kind of backward shit is that?
Well, I mean, when it comes down to the election, that's something that, you know, that's the city folk. Those are the people who elected him.
But I don't think he can be unless he gets badge certification. So it's like, the town is in a weird spot.
Yeah, because the town obviously doesn't want him to be that, but the city or the residents do. So is that why he's on administration leave? They're like, oh, they want him, and he's been elected, but we don't want him, so you can have that title, and you could just be perpetually under investigation.
I mean, the guy, he got, one of the indictments was for stealing lights off of a cop car. Like, yeah, the blue and red ones. Like, he stole them off a cop car. Like, what? What?
It makes you wonder what he wanted to do with those, you know, blue and red lights.
Yeah,
but,
like now they...
really is the Wild West out there.
What the hell is going on?
Sounds like somebody got too drunk one too many times on the job.
Most definitely.
So before we wrap this up, do you want to go over the letter we wrote this week?
This is a letter that we're writing to Dio, and it's still getting polished off, but this is it's kind of like a little rough draft that we wanna share with you guys. We all encourage you to please reach out to Dio, write him. He could use your support. He's a really strong dude, but you know, I know if I was in jail, I would want people to send me letters. So
even more so when you're in there on some bullshit.
And if somebody could find that address real quick so that we could read it out while I go over this, but
I think I have it off the top of my head.
Dio, I hope you are well as can be when in a cage. We are all pulling pretty hard for you, and we miss seeing and hearing from you on the radio. I hope you're able to open some people's eyes while you're in there. And then Matt writes, hey buddy, it's Matt. I still can't believe they put you in there like this. Such a cowardice move by a cowardice system. I heard about the stuff they tried pulling with the phone calls, and it just boggles my mind that they'd go that route. Seemed very insulting to injury to me. I know you're kicking this sentence's ass though, man. Smart guy like you knows how to play that game. We talk about you all the time still on the air with both shows, and actually spent a great deal of last week's episode. Focus on you. Scott actually made up free Dio shirts and wears them for every episode of our Monday program. I can't wait to talk to you after all this when the conversation is mentioned by some jackass reading everything. Make sure
Is it monitored?
Yeah, the conversation is monitored by some jackass reading everything. Make sure it's safe for viewing. Yeah, that part of the letter was for you random CO in charge of invading privacy. So I found out the gender of my little one on the way. It's a boy. I swear the ultrasound photo, he looks like he's already practicing holding a camera. I cannot wait for you to get out and get back on the radio with us. And then Matt gives his address, which obviously we will share with you now, which is 1538,000 Street, apartment 72, in Bumfuck, Pennsylvania. So that's
1818.
Matt. Your audio is abysmal right now, or
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my connection or yours, but you are cutting out. But we're a little bit after our show time, so we'll do our plugs and wrap it up. First, I want to plug the Cop Block store, and Matt, if you can get that address for Dio.
Everything on me is dead right now. But do you have that?
But copblock.org/store, you can get shirts, hats, with the lapel pins. You can get shiny little badges. You can get flyers. There's all kinds of stuff. They're always adding stuff. Just go to copblock.org. You can donate to Copblock. You can donate to Dio, actually, in the Copblock store, I believe. Can't you donate for Dio in the Copblock store?
Yeah, I believe so. There's some kind of
Yeah.
link there that I saw
Yeah.
a while ago.
Also, I don't have the link in front of me. I'm just remembering it now. There's a GoFundMe for Dio's defense. And it would really mean a lot to Dio and a lot to everybody if you guys could go out there and just give anything, $1, $2, $5, anything, help Dio's defense. He's our friend. We really miss him, and he's in there on some bullshit. He's a political prisoner. So.
And then if you want to write him his address, it is Douglas Odalecki, Parma Detention Center, 5555 Powers Boulevard, Parma, Ohio, 44129. That is 555 Powers Boulevard, Parma, Ohio, 44129.
All right, and next I want to talk about Cell 411. We mentioned it earlier. Cell 411 is a great app. It's great for networking and activists. You can create cells for your friends. You can send global alerts. When you send out an alert, you have the option to live stream video. Your friends know exactly where you are. They can get directions to you right on the app, and you can watch their live stream while you go to them. If you're being bullied, if you see a fire, if you see a burglary, if you're cop blocking, if you get pulled over, or if you just want to take a picture of something that you think is important for your group to see, you can send it to them. It's so many features, and there's actually a whole lot of features that are coming on the new version. I'm not sure when that's going to be released, but I was talking to the developer the other day. New version is going to be even better. So stay tuned to that. Also, I want you guys to, on Wednesday night at 10 o'clock Eastern, you can check out Cop Block Radio, and that has Matthew Taylor from Carbon County Cop Block and Oath Accountability Project, and then you have Severin Freeman from Lehigh Valley Cop Block. Go ahead and like their Facebooks and their channels. Check out Cop Block Radio at 10 o'clock on Monday night. Do you guys have a third chair picked out, or?
We have yet to figure out who our third chair is going to be, but make sure to tune in to us. You can go to copblock.org/show, or you can tune in live at lrn.fm.
Yep.
And you can chat live with all the listeners.
All right. And as always, we're gonna go ahead and plug ourselves. I'm Scott Marshall from Oath Accountability Project. Check me out on YouTube and on Facebook.
I'm Matt Taylor of Carbon County Cop Block and Oath Accountability Project. You can check me out on Facebook and YouTube. And
I'm Rick Gonzalez, Allentown Cop Block on Facebook and YouTube. And don't forget to come out for the event on June 2nd. Do some cop blocking and some civil rights protests. And we'll see you next week.
take it easy, guys.